What is up, guys? This is Rambling Collector back here with another review for all of you today. And I figured, in the sense of support of Pride Month, I would at least do 2 reviews for this channel to show my support for Pride Month, as well as to kind of expand a little bit. So, the subject of this video will be a manga review, that being talking about the webtoon series Pulse by Ratana Satis. And I gotta lie, not gonna lie to you guys, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this series, despite it only being 3 that are out right now. But I'm very excited to see when the next 2 volumes come out, because this series had me hooked from start to finish. Let's talk about it. So, a big part of the series highlights for me was this one had a great mix of sweet and spicy moments throughout the story, especially around the main couple of Mel and Lynn. And I gotta say, having Mel as a heart surgeon and Lynn being a woman who needs a heart transplant in order to survive, or else she will die within a few years, and these two essentially bonding over that, with them managing a deal of, if Mel agrees to do the surgery, then Lynn will go through with the heart transplant. But only if Lynn can make Mel fall in love with her within a few months, before she absolutely needs the surgery. And I will say, that was brilliant. It's a great way of making these two actually get to know each other in a unique way. At least that's just in my opinion. But despite there being only 3 volumes out right now, the 3rd volume ends in a way that leaves you satisfied until the next volume releases. Because a lot of times when you have a manga that just releases the first 3 volumes, it leaves you on a nasty cliffhanger that leaves you waiting impatiently for more, Martin. But other than that, I feel like this one leaves off in a satisfying conclusion until volume 4, so I'm very happy about that. But more than that, watching as Mel's cold and detached demeanor slowly chips away throughout the story thanks to Lynn was an absolutely sweet sight to behold, because before this, Mel would never let herself get too attached to people, and she would just essentially use these women for sex, being sort of a playgirl in a way. But until Lynn, who kind of helps to break down the walls of her icy exterior and helps Mel to actually feel like she can connect with people again. And I liked that. It was very sweet. And besides the romance, everything else in this manga, from the intense moments of surgery to a very dramatic moment in Volume 3 that I will not be spoiling here, it kept me wanting to read more. It kept my attention from start to finish. Hell, I actually finished the first 2 volumes within a day. Both. And then Volume 3, while it took me a little bit, I finished that just as well. But, more than that, let's go ahead and talk about the artwork. Now with this art style here, I mean, look at this. I love how it has these softer colors throughout because, well, this is a romance story, but when it needs to be intense, it does so very, very well. Because there are times where either the eyes will light up or have the sharper angles, as you can see here on the left, but more often than not, it has this kind of softness to it that really pulls you in with the story because you know this is a romance manga, and yet it does it in a way that makes you feel, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? At home, I guess? It feels cozy, but it also knows when to be dramatic. Like, there are times where it'll be this cartoony look, very simple, and then there are times where it gets severely detailed, both in the sweet moments as well as the spicy moments, which I liked that. It kept things consistent. Okay, let's move on to random thoughts here. So, fun fact, this manga is one that I actually found when I was out on a date with my girlfriend who had recently visited, and I saw this manga poking out on the shelf a little bit, and I was interested. What initially pulled me in was that this manga was actually in color. It wasn't until later that I found out it was actually a webtoon, but potato potato. I found this in the manga section. I'm going to advertise it as a manga. What can you do, folks? Regardless, though, I thoroughly enjoyed this story, and I cannot wait to see how it concludes. I really hope that they do have Lin go through the heart transplant, because it is very obvious that these two are just very smitten with each other, especially at the end of Volume 3 was a very sweet moment between the two. And I could not stop smiling throughout. I absolutely loved it. And more than that, there was that, once again, dramatic moment, which you will see, and you will be shocked, but you will also be left speechless. I was very blown away by it, especially the surprise by it. But it seemingly came out of nowhere at first, but it definitely helps to up the drama and the stakes a little bit. But more than that, it kind of has Mel essentially evaluate the consequences of her actions of being a sort of sleep around kind of girl who only uses women for sex. And it kind of comes back to bite her when it comes to her attitude and her general, just, I guess, using of these women. Because they all became attached to her, but she tried to keep them at arm's length. And this backfires on her very heavily. Regardless, though, I still recommend this manga if you want a good Yuri romance. And I'm guessing you all already figured out from my review of this so far. You already know what the score is going to be, but regardless, let's move on, shall we? So, overall, I feel comfortable giving Pulse, despite not being a complete release just yet, a solid 10 out of 10, with an engaging romantic story, sweet characters, a good bit of sweet and spicy romance, and more often than not, just engaging me. I love how this one is like in full color, and it is from left to right. While it's not exactly a true manga, it is a webtoon. I'd still enjoy it either way, just because the bright colors, the soft artwork, good story and characters, like I mentioned before. I'd recommend it. Go check it out for yourself if you don't believe me. And more importantly, folks, happy Pride Month to all of you who celebrate it, and to those of you who just simply support it. Once again, I say, happy Pride Month. Keep on doing what you do, and keep knowing that there's good stories out there for you to enjoy. Thank you all once again for listening. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts on it down below, or subscribe if you're interested for more. Thank you once again for listening, folks. This is Rambling Collector, signing off. Have a great day, my fellow readers.